Hey everybody, so I'm here with Captain Cardboard, Scott Alexander of Atomic City Models, and we're taking a look at the brand new, released just this week, XD1 Discovery Command Module. As you can see, this thing is a monster.
15 inches in diameter.
Nice, much bigger than a basketball.
More or less. Yeah, no kidding. Okay.
So
preamble to building. Things you need to know. On the inside of the front half, because we have the command module divided into front half, back half.
Right.
Like so. Preamble to this is, this piece here and its corresponding half on the inside of the back are definitely something you want to use. But if you look carefully here, you'll see a little block that's molded in. You want to remove that.
Okay.
Or you can notch around, you can put two notches into this piece because this is what fits in here.
Use it as a lock or
a
key?
Well, it doesn't have to key. That's the issue. At one time it did.
I see.
But now it doesn't. That's what happens. On the back of the back, there's a fin in here. And this is simply what is referred to as a bubble fin, which means if a bubble appears in this surface that you want, it will hopefully go into the fin, and then you take off the fin and you've gotten rid of the bubble. However, as you can see here, that didn't happen.
Right.
But at the same time, those are easy to fill. So just remove this, and then this piece, known as the collar, will fit perfectly. Okay. So this is with the bubble fin. This is without the bubble fin. You can still see where it was on this piece.
Yeah.
This piece of collar can go on in any position, but it needs to be rotated around so that this detail is top dead center with the top. This is the bottom here. And then to secure the collar, you drill sideways through the collar into that big fat lip. And I use 4 screws. Some people some people might want to use 6. It doesn't really matter. But the reason you want to just screw this in is because someday you may want to take it off.
Yep.
And if you can't take off the collar, you can't get any of the interiors out.
Good
and
point.
those get screwed in place as well.
Okay.
So that's the preamble to that. Now, the reason I call it a preamble is because you don't want to join the front half and back half together until you've gotten the flight deck fit in to place.
Right.
Not necessarily attached, but just it's easier to work the fit if you don't have this much more shell to reach into. Okay. And you'll notice that there are voids, which I'm afraid are unavoidable. Just put Bondo in there. Okay. You'll also see that there are 4 flat spots ending with a block.
Yep.
Those are the positioning, the registration gizmos for the end of the window piece. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that because there is no window piece that's long. What you have is you have the flight deck, which is sort of a big C shape, and it fits over the ledge of the window here. And then there are pieces that are on the sides that take the flight deck wall and join it to where it should be on here. And I've got actual photographs I can give you to show you what I'm talking about. But anyway, you'll certainly grasp it once you've put the thing together and are trying to put this in place. You'll notice that when it's centered, this is open over here and over here. And I have pieces that go over that join to the wall. And this stuff here is used to simply position everything so it's all, when you've got full width here with the flight deck, it only fits if everything is registered to these 4 points.
Sweet.
The problem with this is, because this is such a new item, that when I created the pieces that clip in here, I hadn't created these surfaces yet. Mm-hmm. So when when you get the pieces out of the kit and try to put them in here, these blocks are in the way because I forgot to notch out on the piece for where the block is supposed to be the stop.
Right.
So anyway, as long as you know about that, that's no big deal.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Doors have to be fit in before the pod bay goes into place.
Makes sense.
They have a very, very slight lip around them. This lip here and here, and it's kind of uneven, but when it's in place you don't see that. And so it goes into there's a place for it to register on, on the back, okay? Mm-hmm. And as the door used to come out of the mold, it didn't fit at all. I had to sand it. So anyway, it fits now. And in fact, the other side, if you do left and right doors, for some odd reason, even though these are all identical doorways, because they were one casting that I fit in 3 places, for some reason or other, this one is ever so slightly smaller. So the other casting of this door, you'll have to sand and continue to try and fit into place on this side. I don't know if you're going to want to change which door is open, but I've never fit one into this opening, but it should be the same deal. Because it's literally the same casting to make the door opening is in all 3 places. Okay, so the only difficult thing about this is there's no registration. You have to eyeball level with regard to the whole
Get
model.
It parallel.
Yeah,
That's
it's not very difficult.
No. So would it be...
This is a section of EMA tubing.
Okay.
I forget what size. And this is a big puck that I made of resin that fits into this thing. The reason for that is once you've got the 2 halves together, the next thing that happens is this gets seated into that circular registration point. And it this piece may or may not need to be sanded downward as it sits in there, because there's a certain point that the floor has to reach in order to allow the pod to slide in and out. This puck is simply the filler that when you do get everything dialed in, you can screw through the floor into this puck, and it will. And that way, if you take the pod bay out, the next time you put it in, it goes right back where it should, because it's sitting in this this tube by this puck. So that's what that's for.
That makes sense.
Okay, this is known as the neck, and there's a feature on the neck that you may or may not want to use, and that is this thing. This is the locking interface that gets attached to the neck that engages the neck into the collar. Darn it. This particular collar doesn't have the correct features to lock into this. I mean, they're partially there, but the thing was poured short. So they're not as... You can see bubbles on the inside where it was poured short. So this thing will engage, but it won't lock properly. On the other hand, it's not really necessary because you don't have any weight here. And the only other thing that goes on back here is what I call the spools and plate. Here we go. I'll just set this here. These things sit, they're angled on one side and flat on the other. So as long as you put them so that the angle is in the proper location, in other words, not twisted around, then they'll sit properly. And I'm doing this without my glasses, so it may not actually be in the dead on right position. But this thing has these 4 pads, and
sweet.
Basically it goes like that. Now this hole here is for the tube that holds the spine on the big Discovery, and so it's a part of the part, but you'll notice there's no hole back here for that. I would say that's up to you whether or not you even want to put anything back here to represent what goes in there, because I don't remember if the Discovery itself had that. These are centers that if you drill completely through, you should be able to get the other side, the flat side where there's no center, to link up with these centers.
Okay.
But I didn't drill any holes that were specifically useful toward that. These are just centering holes.
Yeah, that's handy.
Block. You'll notice that this is marked. I indicated this with Sharpie, but there's actually a little groove on each of these that you can see, but it's on camera it's easier to see with Sharpie on it. And that indicates the index. And there is an index that I will probably have to describe to you later, since this thing isn't formed fully. Either that or just do test fit, because only one position will create the proper lock. So
it fits on there one way or the other particularly.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is kind of important. If you decide to stack these like I just did, it's a good idea not to.
Yeah.
Because this will
dig into.
Well, it doesn't dig in, but the weight, its own weight, will push against these 2 points, and it'll push this out. Because as you know, resin doesn't stay in shape.
Yep.
So when I stack things, I do this. I take this piece and I invert it, because then it's even pressure all the way around.
Oh, okay.
And then I put this inside.
All right, sweet.
Okay. Now we're done with all of the stuff you